Dr. Jimmy here again. This is part 4 of All Secrets of Halloween Horror Nights 22 Revealed. I got so excited during the first 3 videos I had to change my clothes. My goodness. Okay, here we are. Now, I left off in part 3. Part 3 telling you about the first 7 houses. I just completed the most recent, the Path of the Wicked house. So that leaves us with 1 remaining house, the 8th house. And the final house that I'll be describing for Halloween Horror Nights 22. This house will, of course, be, as some of you might have already figured out, the Icon House, featuring the icons for the event this year, which will be Penn and Teller. I don't quite yet know what the name of the house will be. They're just calling it the Penn and Teller House. They might call it Penn and Teller's Apocalypso, which is the name of the event, like they have in the past, but they might come up with a different name for the house. I can't tell you as much about this house as I have been able to some of the other houses, for a couple of reasons. Again, I was asked not to spoil too much about the event. I know the video is called All Secrets of Halloween Horror Nights Revealed. These are all the secrets I can reveal, basically. Alright, now, Penn and Teller have, the thought people had that Penn and Teller might do a show at the event. Well, actually, they're doing a house. They're not doing a stage show. They're doing the house. Quite literally, they're doing the house. They will be in the house. And they are actually designing the house themselves. Now, there is, of course, a person from Arts and Design who are helping them realize the designs, but they're calling all the shots of what will be in the house. And I can tell you this much. It's going to be quite bizarre, rather twisted, and possibly a bit controversial. Remember, these are the guys who had a television series they titled Bullshit. So you can, they like to push the envelope. They like to go beyond the pale. They like to, you know, stretch things as far as they're allowed, and even sometimes a bit further than what is considered acceptable. And so you should be quite startled and shocked and maybe a little bit, oh my fuck, I can't believe they're doing this in the house. They're going to use all their skills as magicians to create illusions in the house. There'll be many rooms where you won't believe what the hell you're seeing. They're going to use all their skills of misdirection and everything else to make you think you're seeing things you're not really seeing. They have quite a lot of skills in this area. It should be quite amazing. Furthermore, they will be in the house themselves performing. The final room of the house will be quite large, and they will be in that room, and they will be taking volunteers from the guests. And they're going to do something utterly terrible to the volunteer. You may recall that years ago they had a show with a buzzsaw where they sawed someone in half in a way that wasn't like, you know, the sawing in a box. You know, the cliche magician puts a lady in a box and saws them in half. Oh, look, they cut in half. And they took that to a horrible extreme with lots of blood spurting and everything else. Let's just say that is nothing compared to what they're going to do to the volunteer from the audience that they're going to use in this climactic scene. Now, because of the nature of this house, it will be pulsed. You know, small groups will go in, and then they'll wait a certain period of time, another group will go in, that sort of thing. So it's going to have hellacious lines. You can imagine it's going to have hellacious lines. You can expect, you know, waits of more than 2 hours to get into the house. But it will be probably one of the most popular houses at the event. And people will be dying to go back through it again and again because it'll be so fucking amazing. I swear, this is going to be a house you're going to be talking about for years to come. And you're saying, well, why can't you talk more about it? Well, I was told not to spoil this house particularly, not just from A&D. You see, those nice gentlemen, I almost used a different word there, those nice gentlemen and ladies at A&D, this showed Penn and Teller, they showed the guys my videos and said, this is Dr. Jimmy, he tells people about the event ahead of time, look at him. And Penn Jillette said, okay, well he better not fucking spoil my house, or I'll go to his house and I'll wreck his pussy! And I don't want anything bad to happen to Bob. At least I think he was talking about Bob. Anyway, yeah, so I really cannot spoil the house, except what I just told you. That's all I'm allowed to say. But it'll be quite fantastic, I'm sure. Alright, so those are the 8 houses for the year, and you see, they're quite exciting, and I can't wait It really sounds like an awesome event this year. Now, scare zones. They're going to have scare zones in every area of Islands of Adventure except for Toon Lagoon, naturally, which will be, as I said before, a lot of fog and a Grinch and possibly a Lorax. But everywhere else will have scare zones going on. As I hinted at earlier, Prime Evil, or I don't know if they're going to call it, they probably won't call it that this year, but Port of Entry. Port of Entry is going to have the Jamaican zombie apocalypso thing going on that I already talked about. Now, they'll have more zombies, hopefully. In the Marvel Superhero Island, what they are hoping to do, what they're planning on doing, is to have the Marvel zombie characters running amok through the streets of Marvel Superhero Island, the city-scape area they have there, sort of New York City kind of looking place. They have contacted Marvel Comics. Now, years ago, they got into trouble when they did, in 2002, when they first had it at IOA, and they had the idea of Island Under Siege, and the Marvel villains took over and killed all the heroes. And apparently that upset Marvel Comics, because you're saying that our heroes are dead now. Well, Marvel Comics have developed their own Marvel Zombie line over the years, and so this is something they don't mind that Universal uses for Halloween Horror Nights, because it already fits in, and it's a concept they already created themselves. And so that's what they want to do. Marvel Comics is fine with it. But the apprehension is that, as we all know, Marvel Comics has recently been purchased by another company, which is in sharp competition with Universal. And the fear is that Disney might step in and not allow this from happening. Even though it is highly unlikely that Disney will ever use the Marvel zombie characters in their own theme parks. So it really wouldn't be in competition with what they're planning to do with Marvel characters at California. They won't be doing anything with Marvel characters here except for dressing up a monorail, which looks really awesome, by the way. Have you seen the Avengers monorail? Damn. But, Universal is still allowed to continue what they're doing with the Marvel characters at a Marvel Superhero Island, but they're hoping they won't interfere with Marvel Zombies for Halloween Horror Nights. Because they think, well, this is not what Disney does with these characters anyway, so they might not mind. But just in case, they've got a second scare zone planned for that area, already designed, just in case, so they can put that one in instead. And that is going to be Plague Doctors versus Nightingales, featuring characters from the recent Halloween Horror Nights events the past couple of years that have proved to be very popular, and Universal wants to franchise in the future anyway. However, the Plague Doctors and Nightingales, they see them as natural opposing enemies anyway, because the Nightingales prey on the weak and the sick, and the Plague Doctors sort of protect the sick and dying or the dead from the living, go after the healthy, rather than, So they're sort of natural enemies, but they're going to be a sort of futuristic version to fit in with the Marvel Superhero Island area. So it's not going to be Plague Doctors from the 16th century and Nightingales from World War I. These are going to be in the future. So there'll be futuristic versions of both of them. The Plague Doctor costume designs that I've seen are really amazing. They look like retro 1930s Art Deco, diesel punk sort of Plague Doctor costumes. What it reminded me most of was the Rocketeer, or that Sky Captain movie. The Plague Doctor costume will have like leather jackets and those big jodhpur riding pants and boots. And the Plague Doctor mask is sort of like a helmet made out of metal, like brass, shiny, and in an Art Deco style with the goggles. And they really look kind of heroic and rather awesome. The Nightingales, on the other hand, are sort of twisted, cybernetic Borg-like creatures with lots of black leather and, cybernetic bits and pieces built in, like they've turned into some sort of future cyborg creatures with a Nightingale face. And they still look like nurses, however. So we have those two attacking each other and us getting caught in the middle. Really neat idea. I'm not sure which scare zone I want to see more. Which one would be best? Hopefully, whatever they do with that, they'll have the other one in the future at another event. Toon Lagoon, they're going to turn into a Lovecraft scare zone with lots of deep ones and night gaunts and other Lovecraftian creatures lurking about. in sharp contrast to the Toon Lagoon environment. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but that's what they're planning. Jurassic Park is going to be turned into a jungle of fierce beasts, wild beasts. They really want to make it animalistic with the scare zone, the character costumes. Huge, ferocious lion, jaguar, reptile type creatures that will be like ferocious, animalistic, roar, coming after you. Remember the knuckle grunts a few years ago? They want to take that way beyond that, make them even more bestial. So you really think this is not a human being, but some kind of animal, some kind of ferocious, mutated, devouring, carnivorous, rawr, coming to get you. So that sounds pretty amazing too. Of course, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter will be filled with all kinds of dark wizards and Death Eaters, what the hell are those things called? The kiss of Dementors, of course. Dementors, and Lord Voldemort himself will be running through the streets of Hogsmeade, pursuing and attacking the guests. So that should be amazing. That will not be the only scare zone in Lost Continent, of course. Those areas of Lost Continent that are still not a part of the Wizarding World. Ooh, did I say still? Don't want to give away what Universal's planning. Those parts will be featuring character designs that tie into the upcoming motion picture Snow White and the Huntress, with the Wicked Queen and her magic mirror and all the knights and evil creatures that she has as her minions. So that should be quite intriguing as well. So we'll have all of these things going on, themed for each area. It'll be quite amazing. Of course, they will do a show this year, Bill and Ted's Excellent Halloween Adventure, as they have every year since 1992. And it will be this year at the Toon Lagoon Auditorium, where it was held all the years that it was at Islands of Adventure. I don't know much about the show this year because it hasn't been written yet. But, of course, it will feature parodies of recent motion pictures and pop culture and television and internet memes and popular music, all the things we normally see, once again, as it always has been. So that usually is something that's fairly consistent. In lieu of another show, though, what they've got planned is a parade. Yes, that's right. They're going to have a parade at IOA. They've been wanting to do a parade at IOA for a long time. Of course, the plan, because the streets are too narrow for the big floats that are motorized, are floats that can be, smaller floats that can be pulled and pushed by the actual characters that are in the parade. This is a concept they had designed originally a few years ago that didn't use. So they're going to do that with new designs. And what the idea is, the parade will start from two different points. They're going to have one start point at Jurassic Park and the other one in the Wizarding World. They're going to go simultaneously and meet up at Port of Evil. I mean, at Port of Entry. I keep calling it Port of Evil because that's what they called it in the past, but it's just going to be, whatever that area is, where the Terra Throne used to be. Now, in the Terra Throne area are going to be set up all the drum sets for the Death Drum Show like they had last year. They can't have the big motorized vehicles, so they're going to have the drum set set up there. And that's going to start with a performance of something like Death Drums, only with other more frightening characters doing the dancing. And the parade's going to meet up, and the characters there are going to all get together and have this big jamboree sort of thing. Characters from the zombie, the Apocalypso, and characters from, because they can't have any of the scare zones active during the parade, obviously. So all the characters are actually going to join the parade, and they're going to come around and have this big street party with all these different mixed characters. You'll have Dementors and zombies and deep ones and all these different characters doing involved in this huge hullabaloo. But they're going to do shout outs. This is what really, I love this. They're going to have shout-out float designs for fans of the event. Now, the average guest will just think these are weird, creepy characters, but those of us in the know will know what they're getting at. One of the characters will be an evil doctor who rips out spines. Another parade float will feature a fear man. One will have, they want to get a character who's at least 7 feet tall to be this big evil warrior who will be called the Creative Destroyer. And they've got an incredibly outrageously flamboyant gay version of the Phantom of the Opera as another one. And my favorite, of course, will be this demented old professor whose companion will be a sort of feline, half-human, half-cat female cat character as his companion. So that I love, because we know who they're getting at with that. So that's what they're going to do for Halloween Horror Nights 22. I hope you enjoy it, and remember, this is not a joke. This is what they're currently planning. It's possible shit will happen between now and September, and they'll have to make some changes again. But as of right now, this is what's being planned. Aloha.